The effects of the economic crisis in Hungary are deepening the rift between the majority of the population and the Roma minority. Out of Hungary's total 10 million people, mostly ethnic Magyars, live almost 700,000 ethnic Roma. Many are looking to education as the best way to advance at a difficult time. 21-year-old Vivian Brasoy is studying law and the history of art at the University of Budapest. The Bibó István residence here is for top students. In spite of the high standing of the educational centres Vivian has been through, she also suffered discrimination there because she is a Roma. Vivian tells us,
nursery was perfect because small children don't yet have a notion of ethnic differences. Primary school was difficult. I got told, "You're lazy, you smell." When I reached high school, this changed a bit. All the teachers expected more from me. They treated me as a special case. It was basically the same at the university, where I've just had one very bad experience. I knew how much I'd have to learn, but a teacher, evidently not fond of minorities, said I would always have to know twice as much to prove I deserve my place here.
Vivian is from Kolocsa in southwestern Hungary. She says many Roma distrust school as few teachers know about the Roma culture. When she was a child, Roma and Magyars were segregated. The Equal Treatment Act of 2004 forbids segregation in the school system, but there are still problems with it. A Hungarian court recently awarded damages to a handful of Roma children who had been segregated. Prejudice is like hitting a wall. It bars people from essentials such as education. This effectively keeps people at a disadvantage. Vivian's mother refers to Hungary's transition to Western-style democracy at the end of the 1980s, out of its reform-minded communism.
Poverty is 90% due to discrimination. We've had to face this since the change of the system. If companies are hiring, there won't be any jobs for us because we're Roma, even if they don't say the true reason for the refusal. This hatred against our race did not exist before. We used to eat together at the same canteen lunch table with our bosses. People used to work together. We were equals, Magyars and Roma together.
Maria used to work in her town's paprika factory. So did her husband. They were both laid off after communism ended, and company privatization and restructuring began. Now they live on a €350 per month social allowance. The average wage in Hungary is between 400 and 500 euros. Most of the Roma in Kolocsa are employed by the town in jobs like sweeping the streets, but there are no permanent contracts. Maria Kolompa used to work for the town. She thinks negative Roma reputations are what stops the municipality from hiring them.
I think personally, I tell you the truth, that some of the Roma spend any money they get on drink. They gamble it in bars. As soon as I get some money, I go to the supermarket to buy food, and I go to the second-hand shops to get clothes for the kids. They need clean clothes for school. But to tell you the truth, some Roma even steal. Then they're put in jail. And it goes on like a vicious circle.
The majority ethnic Magyars are also affected by the crisis and high unemployment. The far-right party Jobbik thrives on anti-Roma rhetoric. It wants segregation re-institutionalized.
In the past 20 years, integration has been carried out in a very ineffective way, by forced integration. Take the education system, for example, and the forced positive discrimination in many fields of everyday life. Then there's the social benefit system that doesn't work, because Roma get enough social benefits to live on, and they're not motivated to work, since what the state provides is basically enough to get by on.
The governing centre-right party Fidesz is under pressure to develop sound policies for the Roma population.
I think that we have a long tradition living together with the Roma people in Hungary, also positive examples. So actually the recent situation is not very good, but I think we have the fundament to manage these problems, and the fundament are these good traditions for cooperation and coexistence.
The Fidesz government hopes to harness the energy of the Hungarian presidency of the EU in the first half of next year to help address imbalances between Magyars and Roma. This social scientist says education should play a major role in solving the problems.
The average age of Roma people is very different from the Magyars. Hungarian society is aging, while Roma society is younger and dynamic. There's also an important difference between the two communities in education. The education offered the minority is of a far lower quality than that given the majority. The result is the employment rate is much higher for the majority.
This school is located in the 8th district of Budapest. It is considered the Roma area of the capital. The classrooms are full of Magyar and Roma children. The headmaster says the pupils are all doing well without a communitarian distinction.
Children who come from deep poverty often have more difficulties in their educational career, and among these the percentage of Roma is high. The particularity of this school is that a lot of pupils have relatives who went to the Academy of Music. These children are very successful in music, for example, sort of the school's poster children.
And we got a lot of celebrations.
A popular Roma singer in Hungary, LL Jr., says that Hungary's Roma live better than Roma in other countries.
But here we are a little bit more lucky because here the gypsies live in normal social houses, flat. The main two problems are the education and the work, the jobs.
LL Jr. sponsors a dance academy for Roma and non-Roma alike. The Hungarian Academy of Sciences says the Roma are facing choices of assimilation and integration, losing part of their traditions or adapting to society without sacrificing their customs. Next week, our long journey of the Roma series will take us to France.